ArtOxygen is a contemporary art initiative that was started in Mumbai in 2009. We began because we felt that the discourse on art and artistic practice was too relegated between the artist studio and the gallery, so we wanted to widen the access and reach and experience of contemporary art to an unrestricted public, where we place the work of art in spaces that you don't expect to encounter, but also where the work becomes challenged. It needs to negotiate with the spaces that they inhabit, and sometimes also where they receive opposition. Encounter by its nature is both a meeting and a clash, and we invited since 2010, and year after year we invite artists to interrogate different aspects of Mumbai city that affect the daily life of Mumbaikars. So artists have annually brought their practices to different spaces where you have little control, where the work needs to negotiate itself with people who live there or with the sites. The 7th edition of the Encounters Festival invited artists both from India as well as internationally to look at this one specific site of the CST Terminus, which used to be a storehouse for goods, which is where we got the title of the festival, which is Bori Bunder, and invited artists to transform through temporary interventions this space into a kind of incubator or storehouse of ideas and archive that reflects the cultural, social and rich linguistic fabric of Mumbai.
Io sono Emilio Leofreddi, un artista italiano. Sono qui a Bombay per il progetto, quello di ArtOxygen alla Victoria Station. Questo progetto che è intitolato Encounters ed è un progetto che in un modo o nell'altro mi avvicino, perché è sul viaggio, quindi sulla dimensione dello scambio, vari popoli, vari continenti e tutto. Quindi questa è stata un'occasione bellissima per confrontare il mio lavoro con un posto incredibile come la Victoria Station, dove tappeto gigante con un biglietto delle ferrovie indiane come flying carpet, cioè you are here, e quindi tu con quel biglietto puoi volare, perché è quello poi il senso di un biglietto. Quando compri un biglietto in una stazione, praticamente quello è quello che ti dà la dinamica dell'andare.
I'm Owais Husain. My work has evolved through various mediums such as paintings and drawings and photography and film and poetry and music. And of late, in these past few years, I've been working a lot of three-dimensional objects and site-specific installations. So the work at CST is addressing not only the heritage of the building and also the agency of the place as well. You know, I mean, something that's fleeting, something that's transient. You Are Forever addresses 60 trunks which are mounted as a wall which unfolds, and they embrace on one end of them a projected video image. And each of these trunks, they are symbolic of storehouses of memory and storehouses of history. The film, the moving image which I projected on that, was silent, and it has a certain definite narrative, although it runs in a loop. This particular film is all about these three rivers, and one has gone missing, and so they've taken the avatar of in the form of sisters, looking through various sort of situations and landscape, and also positions where they go through in search of their missing sister. And the only witness to validate this myth is a silent but benign sky, you know, so there are elements of reflections of the sky in different forms, as well as water, the sea, which forms a contour of probably a continent somewhere. Silence in most of my video works is a very pronounced element. I like the whole void of the absence of sound. Especially at CST, what happened was that there were these thousands of people passing by, and they all were drawn in to the moving image. And I play around with that silence in that. So what takes over as just the ambient sound around you, which you actually hear live while you're watching the image.
Seven Island Temple was born in origin as a performative sculpture, and little by little it has transformed itself in a collective project. The starting point of the project was original landscape of this area before the colonization, and this flux of materials that pass through the city every day, and we try to follow this flux of matter, trying to understand how people living here deal with this flux of matter, and how the materials that are in the city, that coexist in the city, are agents in the city itself. At first visit the old islands, we put in relationship the old map, so we traced the perimeter of the old Seven Island, and then we did many surveys in those areas, and then we collected different materials in different sides of the city, and we started to reflect upon the importance of these materials for the life of the city itself and for the people living in this area. Normally the first approach is always an aesthetic approach, in the sense that attract us, and we started to reflect upon these materials. And then for the performance at VT Station, we asked 7 performers to hold these 7 objects in the station for 3 or 4 hours, with the idea of put these 7 performers in relationship with these objects. The objects were quite heavy, and so this effort to keep their hand, the material, was sort of challenge too, and for us it was important this perception of the weight of the material, and also maybe the impossibility for them to hold for all the period of the performance. And so we asked them to ask people to collaborate with them, so there was this exchange with public, also with this idea of collaboration in caring of the matter. We try to put at the same level a mangrove plant, but also inorganic, the red soil of Mumbai, the basalt, stone, rock, a piece of concrete that is very significant in a city like Mumbai, with this very big real estate speculation. And then we asked 7 persons to find 7 places in which to install these 7 temples in the city again. The idea was to give back to the city these materials so that they can live again in the city and be transformed in the city.
You are listening FM 96.7. This is temporarily non-locatable public space, and I am in the CST station in Mumbai. Hi everyone, how are you? Good morning.
Relating with that space, Bori Bunder, I came up with an idea to present a work which is carrying some live element in it. It was almost like nurturing a life in a very captive space. So I called it like an incubating love. I'd used rose flowers and like small pond was being created which was carrying like water lily in it along with fishes, and so these were like elements which I'd used for the work. Usually like goods are covered, like it's a packed good which comes from different places and then circulated within the city. The idea was to give an open view of the good which is moving from one place to another, and also the other area was like it's going nowhere. The idea was to just circulate within that particular space, interacting with the people. With respect to the people's responses, it was more of a curiosity of like what exactly it is, and then it was more of the spontaneous responses which I was looking from the people. Artwork always charges you. It has to bring some kind of element inside you. And also what is important for me in such public spaces is like it should allow a person to breathe, go through the work and spend some time, slow down your daily routine life, because our work is only there for a moment and it is just to maybe sometime bring up certain ideas or refresh people's mind with another medium.
I'm Teja Gavankar from Mumbai. By being and growing in this city, I always fascinated by its diversity and beauty within it. On this note, for the first time, I have done public art with ArtOxygen on this project, where I asked commuters to react to the given piece of paper, where they have to join 4 points by not creating square, and people responded in various unexpected way. After collecting these forms, work have gone 2 more stages. One was the video of all forms together refers to Rangoli, and last stage was these collected form into metal sculpture as individual.